So on your sheet, the news of the day today. Do we want to talk about the Signal Houthi Yemeni war plans? Because that happened during Monday's taping, and we were so locked into the lottery ball and naming guys that we didn't get a chance to touch on it. Because I saw that Dave had a rant this morning. I have also a rant that I would like to go on regarding the Signal group chat that Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic was added to. I'm peed off. PFT'd off about this. Why are we using F-18s? Why are we going to use an F-18? We've got F-35s that are made for the carrier. They can take off from the aircraft carriers. They, in addition to carrying a significant payload, they also can utilize stealth technology, which would make them invisible or barely visible to enemy radar, air defenses, surface-to-air missile sites, enemy AAA. Why are we going with the F-18s? I know that Tom Cruise flew one in the most recent Top Gun. It looked awesome. F-18's been I'm not disparaging F-18s, by the way. They've done a great job over the years. Been one of the staples of our Navy, and they've accomplished a lot over the years. But we got the F-35, and I know we don't have a ton of them that are enabled for the carrier, but we should be using the F-35, in my opinion, for that. My real rant, though, is why was I not added to the group chat? Like, I just want to see. I want to know. Like, Americans have a lot of questions, specifically, when will this mission be available as downloaded content that you can play in Digital Combat Simulator? What did the planes look like? Did they have cool paint jobs on them? What were the liveries? Did the pilots wear the cool helmet-mounted display cams where they can target by looking away from the HUD? These are the questions that America wants to know the answers to, and we frankly don't have those answers yet.
What are our top 3 strike-capable aircraft?
Oh, buddy, I think that we could have used, matter of fact, F-15E Strike Eagles.
Okay, that's
they don't take off
awesome name.
They don't take off from aircraft carriers. They're land-based, but these things can carry a fuckload of missiles, so they can do air-to-air, and they can track enemy targets as far away as like 100 miles, 150 miles. They can go air-to-air. They can also deliver significant payload air-to-ground, which also the F-18 can do. It's capable of both those things. But I would have planned for probably some EAG Growlers. They're electronic warfare planes. They go in there. They fire a bunch of radiation at the enemy radar sites, wipe those out so they can't track you. Then after those, then we send in the F-15E Strike Eagles.
Little 1-2 combo.
And they drop a fucking payload on you.
Nice.
They blow your ass to smithereens. Then we have some F-35, the carrier version, come in, and they clean up the mess afterwards. That's what I personally would have done if I were in that situation. But I was not added to the Signal group chat. I would have loved to be in that group chat just so I could ask a bunch of questions about the cool planes that we get to use. Jeffrey Goldberg was invited to the group chat, which is maybe the last guy that you would want to invite. I'll put this in football terms. This is like if the Browns accidentally added Adam Schefter to their draft prep, their draft war room group chat that they've got going on. And then he was like, you guys sure you want me in here? And then Adam Schefter leaves the group chat and everyone's like, fuck, we didn't say exactly who we're going to draft. Not a good look for U.S. military, for the Department of Defense, and for Michael Waltz, the National Security Advisor, to be adding Jeffrey Goldberg, a journalist that definitely does not like the Trump administration. They added him to the group chat, and then he stuck in there for like a day because he says that he wasn't sure if it was legit, and then he left after he found out that it was legit because the strike happened. And then you get a notification, I guess. I don't have Signal. I don't use Signal. Do you guys use Signal?
No, but I would assume it's like on an iMessage, if someone leaves a group chat, it has a little thing on there. It says so-and-so left.
It does, yeah. That from everything that I've read, it pops that in there for you. And it also says when people are added to the group chat. So, and who added them. So Michael Waltz apparently added Jeffrey Goldberg to this group chat as they were planning how they were going to strike against the Houthi rebels, which are located in Yemen, and they've been firing rockets and shit at a bunch of cargo ships and really making life tough for any sort of transcontinental shipping that's going on in that part of the world. So they decide to make a strike on them. The group chat happens. Jeffrey Goldberg finds out about it, waits a few days, tries to get comment from the people that were involved, and then writes an article where he has screenshots of the group chat. He left out the actual war planning stuff from his initial article, and then they said that he was a hoaxer, and they claimed that he was making stuff up, that there wasn't any actual planning going on. So then he released the rest of the group chat, which shows the planning of using F-18s when they're going to be striking, that whole thing. So I don't know what's going to happen, if there's going to be any people that get fired, if there's resignations, if people are just going to kind of be like, yeah, tough shit, deal with it. This happened. I've seen a bunch of people, I think it was Hegseth, say that like Goldberg is a scumbag and that he should have like left the group chat and that nothing bad was being disclosed. Really the big issue is why they were using Signal to begin with, because you can use Signal in the government if you're just like talking about very generic things back and forth. But for like an airstrike and dropping all this information, all these details in there, feels like that's a pretty big breach of security. And so they're going to have to try to figure out what they do moving forward with that. That's kind of where we're at right now. But
why would you,
the last guy that you would want to invite?
Like if I'm in his shoes, right? What's his name? Jeff Goldberg?
Yep.
I'm staying in that group as long as I possibly can.
So I was going to say, you either have to leave immediately or stay in the whole time.
I'm staying in as long as they crafting plans. Absolutely. And then I'm putting together an entire, like, he just wrote like a quick little, because he wanted to get it out fast. But bro, I'm putting together, because this is a huge security breach from national security, right? Like, how you fuck that up, I have no idea. That's a wild thing to do. You said, that's a great analogy with leaving Adam Schefter in the draft room prep. That shit's funny as shit. But I'm staying in there and seeing how much military intel they're deploying on this app, which I think they use it because it's encrypted. Signal, to my knowledge, is encrypted, kind of like WhatsApp. So it's but if you add somebody, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you're inviting everybody to the party. But I'm staying in there as long as possible and getting as much info as I can. And then whenever they kick me out, or when the chat goes dead, or when the administration is done, then you come out with a detailed report about like, this is how bad this is.
Well, I think my guess is that Goldberg talked to the lawyers at the Atlantic, and he was like, how do I handle this? I'm not sure if it's real. And they said, you should probably get out of it if you think that it's real, because there are laws that could incriminate you if you choose knowingly to stick around and receive classified information.
Well, he didn't do it.
Is that, yeah, you invited me
he
in.
He didn't put himself in there.
Yeah,
right, but I think if you know that you're receiving information that you shouldn't be getting and you continue to stay in it, I think that his lawyers probably told him they could try to twist this law and go after you.
Nobody could ever get convicted of that.
I don't know.
What is the law? What's the law that they cite? Because if you're inviting me to the party, you don't get mad because I'm here. You can't convict me because I'm here. You invited me.
Espionage, the Espionage Act. So
let's look it up.
So there was a guy that worked in the CIA by the name of John Kiriakou. I think we've been trying to get him on the pod. We've reached out to him, but he was in the CIA. He's the only person that ever went to prison for the CIA torture stuff back in Iraq. He went to prison for that, not because he partook in it, but because he was a whistleblower. And so he passed along, like, he confirmed the name of somebody to a journalist that was involved in this, and they took that and they threw him in jail. They threw him in prison, federal prison. And so, like, I think if you're a good lawyer, you would probably tell your client, like, better safe than sorry when it comes to receiving classified information.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Criminalized and unauthorized retention and dissemination of sensitive information that could undermine U.S. national defense or aid a foreign nation. Now, if this is the case, if we can criminalize, if we can criminalize somebody receiving it or garnering the information, then we can also and should also criminalize the giving of it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely against the law for sure.
Right. So whoever allowed him in the group chat should also have this, be held to the same account as he could have been under the Espionage Act.
Yeah, I think if you're a rank and file member of the military and you had sent this by mistake to a journalist, you would go to prison.
Yeah.
They would put you on trial. But if you're an appointed person, it's a little bit different. And there's a question of, will they bring charges, that whole thing. And especially if your defense is, I did it as a mistake. Or it sounded like Waltz was saying last night that he was claiming that Goldberg's name was changed to somebody else. I think that's the line of defense that they're going with. It could be whatever staffer put this together had Goldberg's name saved in his phone as somebody else because he was leaking information.
He said no staffer was involved.
No staff. Okay, so it was him.
Yeah, he said he's the one that made the group, and he said that his contacts may have been
changed.
He said when you dump contacts in and they're like a number is under a different name. It was a little bit funky. Yeah, it was a little bit funky. But he was like, I think he was trying to say like when your iCloud, like when you have share an iCloud like with your wife or something. But like, why would your wife have Jeffrey Goldberg's like something like that?
Yeah, and there's a good chance that somebody was leaking info to Jeffrey Goldberg, put his name in as somebody else in their phone, and then it caught up to them when they put him in the group chat. That's a possibility. Mm-hmm. But this is why you don't use Signal to plan an airstrike. Yeah. You're not supposed to do that. If you're in the military and you get caught doing that, you are going to prison. You're going to be in big trouble. Also, fun little additional fact about this Waltz guy. Somebody found, I think about a month ago, that he was following. What was the Twitter handle that he was following? It was like Big Dick Bottoms.
Yes.
On Twitter, and then he unfollowed them once people figured out that he was following this guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen if they're going to actually press charges. It sounds like they're circling the wagons and being like, this is an attack by the radical left-wing media on us. But yeah, this is the last guy that you would want to involve.
I always like to look at it like the way my worldview is, right? So I like to look at it through the lens of the other side. And I can imagine if it was a Joe Biden administration and the same thing happened. If we have receipts, you invited a right-wing publicist to a group chat for a military strike. Oh my God. They'd be calling for impeachment. They'd be called this administration is they'd be doing the same thing. But because I don't think the right and the left wing treat each other the same. So they're going to blow it off. They're going to say it's fake news. They're going to say, I highly doubt that this administration is going to hold this administration accountable. That it would surprise me. It would surprise me.
I feel like Waltz he's got to go, right?
Trump said that he supports him.
And
Hegseth.
So,
I don't know if Trump has been. It was funny yesterday. He was like, "This is the first I'm hearing of it," which is a great line that he's used a couple times. But he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I know that the Atlantic is a failing organization."
That's what I'm saying, bro. They'll do that. He's gonna keep doing that shit.
It'd be funny if Trump was just like, nobody ever tell me the details about this. That way I can just say like, I don't know anything about it. I haven't been briefed on it. Say that for years and years and years. Big T, what do we think? What do we think happened here? And do we think it's serious?
I don't understand the first part of your question. What do we think happened here?
What do we think happened?
Remarkably clear.
So what I just said is that's what you think happened.
That he added the guy to the group chat accidentally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we think should happen?
I have no idea.
I feel like
Imagine Joe Biden's administration did this. Then what do you think should happen?
I don't know. I would say it's bad. Like I would say it's bad that it happened now. I have no precedent of consequences for, like, if that guy got fired, like, okay, fine.
I think
I don't know.
I think the worst part in this is that they were using Signal to do it, which there's a reason why they don't use Signal to do
I
this
thought
sort of
like
thing.
you couldn't. have a phone and like text and shit if you were that high up in the government.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can't do.
Like I remember Obama one time was like, I have a phone, but it's like there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris said she wasn't allowed to text in like iMessage when she was vice president.
I've heard that this was done on his personal cell phone. I don't know if that's true. That's just one thing that I've read, so it could very well not be true. But I've heard that it was done using Signal, which, yeah, as Arian says, is encrypted, but also there's ways that you can get the fucking editor-in-chief of The Atlantic got into it. So using Signal, not a good idea for this. And yeah, I think Waltz will eventually go down for it, but I don't know.
We'll see. I doubt it, but it's a fuck up for sure.
Imagine that notification when it says Jeffrey Goldberg has left this conversation. Like the behind the scenes shit that went on. The other line that I've seen a lot of people that were on this group chat using is that nothing serious was discussed. It wasn't anything super classified. There was no battle plan. There was no war plan. I mean, I read enough of it. There's pretty specific things in there that definitely should not have been discussed.
Well, by his logic, it wouldn't say Jeffrey Goldberg left the conversation, right? It would say somebody else.
Yeah.
His excuse is he had somebody else with that contact name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I also saw that there was one member of the group chat that was either on his way to Russia or in Russia at the time to do negotiations with the Putin administration about ending the war in Ukraine. That he was either on his way there or in the country while this Signal chat was happening. In which case, that's bad. That's very bad.
To have that out, yeah. Well, so, but, I mean, that's my very quick reading of the Espionage Act. I don't know all the different nuances of all that. You know, I don't, by no means an expert. But if his lawyers advised him to get out, why would they not advise him to not publicize all the information that he had before he got out? Could you not make that same argument?
When he published it, he took out all the stuff that could be construed to be like planning the actual attack. So he didn't publish that in the initial report. And then everybody that was in that group chat said there wasn't anything discussed. We don't think that he's got any classified info, anything that would put members of the military in harm's way. And then he was like, okay, well, here's the stuff that I didn't publish. And then he published that.
That's what I'm saying. So why would it, if I mean, I feel like you can make the same argument that they were just calling his bluff. He called their bluff. If they want to prosecute him, I mean, they technically can under that. But I don't know. That's slippery shit. I wouldn't like know about as far as being able to prosecute somebody for that. But if I had an inkling of me getting prosecuted for shit like that, I wouldn't have published anything.
I think that it was newsworthy because they were using channels that were outside of approved channels to do this type of planning.
Definitely. I don't disagree with his reasoning. I'm just saying if I'm not going to jail. I've been to jail once. I will never go back.
You probably have firmer legal ground to stand on to release the whole thing after they publicly say that you're lying about the contents of it.
That would be liable, I guess. Yeah, I mean that'd be an interesting court case to look at if they ever do.
So could you, in theory, if you're the President Arian, and there's somebody that you don't, it's pretty good. If there's someone you don't like, you just send them classified information to their phone, and then you're like, "Gotcha, you've got classified information on your phone." Espionage Act.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like I said, I don't know. There's nuance behind every law, and so I don't know the details behind it. So I don't know because you
put myself in old Donnie's shoes right now, and knowing the way that he thinks, I wouldn't be shocked if he was like, Jeffrey Goldberg is actually a traitor and he's the bad guy in the situation. He held on to this classified information and then published it and then threatened him as a show of strength to be like, we're considering going after you for the Espionage Act.
It's a reach, but it would set a horrible precedent. You're 1,000% correct.
Oh yeah, I don't think that he's going to prosecute. I don't think that Jeffrey Goldberg is going to get prosecuted. But you can say, again, as a show of strength in his mind, like we're going to go on the attack.
So the Obama administration did something similar to that with the whistleblower. What's his name?
Snowden.
Yes, they to this day, if you ask Obama about Snowden, they're like, yeah, he breached national security. Yeah, but you was spying on people. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a similar precedent in my opinion, which I think is bullshit. By the way, I think he did what he was. I think he did his civic duty by blowing that whistle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. That's not above my pay grade, dog. I just figured out how to shadow my club. So,
well, in the future, if any members of the Trump administration listen to this program, please include me on the war planning group chats
to take me out.
I'll just interject with shit like, tell me about the F-22's AIM 260 AMRAAMs. Are they cool?
I really think we need F-18s here, fellas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been better or worse if they included PFT commenter rather than a Washington Post journalist who hates Trump?
Better.
Way better.
But it would have looked worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
The outcome probably would have been better, but if it got out, it would look worse.
Yeah, like what's this asshole doing?
Yeah, like
how does anybody in the administration have this guy's number?
Right.
Yeah.
What would you have done if they added you?
If they add me to the group chat, well, I don't have Signal, so it would have been like, who put Signal on my phone?
Okay.
And then I would have started trolling the group chat almost immediately. Almost immediately. Once I saw Marco Rubio, once I saw Tulsi Gabbard, once I saw Pete Hegseth in there, I probably would have sent a picture of my balls.
Nice.
Or my shit. I would have taken a shit and then been like, this is a real mess. We got to clean this up. I don't know if MK82s are enough to handle this.
But would you have publicized it?
Yeah, I think I would publicize it like immediately.
On which show?
Macrodosing.
Love that.
Because it would have happened during an episode of Macrodosing.
That's true. Well, it had presumably happened the day or two before.
Talk about some breaking news. That shit would be hilarious. Why is Tulsi texting me right now?
I think within a minute, I would start taking a shit, and then I would take a picture of the shit when I was done, send it immediately, and then take some screenshots of it. And then
shit on command?
I would, in that situation, yeah. When the lights are bright, it's like
put the ball in my hands.
That's the most important shit that I'll ever have to take in my life.
Yeah.
And I would dump out a nasty one, and then within 30 seconds of that, I would screenshot it and then post it online.
I'm from Baltimore. Give me the fucking ball.
That's right. That's what I would say.